Hey,
What's
sir.
happening?
How
What's
are
going on?
you?
I'm all right. It sound loud. It sound loud in your background.
uh, I was trying to see the grandbaby came and laid on the floor. So I was like, is he going to be quiet? Hold
No,
on
I
one
don't sound.
second.
No, he ain't saying nothing. No, it's like it sounds like it's like a vacuum or something.
Oh, you know
Maybe that's just
what?
me.
It's the fan. Hold on
Oh,
one
okay.
second.
What's happening, everybody? Greetings from Amsterdam. Dope. My international peoples. Let's get international. Love it. I love it. Colleague working out our technical difficulties. She'll be back in a minute.
Okay, there we go. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. All right, so we ready to get started?
Let's get started. Man, people want to hop on here already.
Okay.
What's on?
Well, I guess we should at least introduce. Oh, well,
Absolutely.
oh no, you need to pin your information in the bottom.
Okay.
Housekeeping
I'll do that.
rules.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining from all over the globe. I am Cola Red Bell. We are joined by Dr. John or Doc P. Um, and we are here to discuss health issues, women, men, children, whatever your questions are. Obviously, he is a gynecologist, so he specializes in women issues, but we are here to discuss any medical questions you have. I am one of his patients. I had minimally invasive surgery. It'll be 3 years in September
Damn.
for fibroids. And I had what he would call advanced fibroid disease.
A big ass fibroids is what we call
I definitely had big,
it.
rather
Yeah. Oh,
large.
yeah. For the baby. I understand the though. Big ass.
I had rather large fibroids, and I did opted for a minimally invasive treatment. So I did a laparoscopic hysterectomy, and I do not miss my period at all.
Yay.
Not even a little bit. I deserve all these years back for all the years I was suffering. And I don't even think about it. I was happy to donate all of my sanitary products to the local church. All right. With that being said, we will get started. Now, there are questions that people have submitted. Please, if you are dropping questions for me to ask tonight, put them in the chat bubble at the bottom with a question mark around it, because when it's flying on the screen and people laughing, joking, and talking to each other, it's hard for us to scroll and keep up. So please, please put them in that bubble. That way I could keep track of everything. And then also, if you would like to join in person yourself to ask your question, please feel free to send the request, and Doc P will let you ask on spot. If you do join for a free consultation, please, please, let's do a short consultation,
Limited.
because we're trying to
Yeah.
serve the people. And believe it or not, I be busy too. I may not be operating on people,
Oh
but
yeah.
it'd be hard for us to coordinate this. So we be
Absolutely.
trying though. We definitely be trying. So we keep in touch every weekend, share our schedules. We try to sync it up. So, all right. So you got somebody that you said
Let
wanted to join
me,
already?
let me see. Uh, yeah, it's two people. We want to get into it.
Yes. Go right
All right.
ahead, and then we'll do that, and then I'll do a submit it, and then I'll take one out the box. We'll rotate.
Cool. That's unusual. They coming out early. Let's go.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Hey, oh my God, you were
Hi.
here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ask and you shall receive.
Oh my gosh. That's just
Hey, yeah, we here. Yes, we here.
God.
We all
What's been yeah.
we all family. You good?
Oh my God, this is bad. So I've been going let me see. Like 16 years ago, I was told by the doctor that I had fibroids, right? But he said
Okay.
it's grape size, don't do anything about it. So I left it alone. Last year I had a stroke. And um
Mm.
come and I found out I was anemic because I was bleeding, started to bleed badly. And I went to another gynecologist.
Mm-hmm.
She said, just leave it alone. You know, your uterus is enlarged, but you're fine. I'm like, okay, it wasn't bothering me. Then I left and it just started bleeding. I started having like missed periods, you know, tarry looking periods. Then it would shift to excessive bleeding. I started having gut problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like I backed up all the time. And so I started having like gastric, upper GI issues. And I was sent to do a colonoscopy, but I never did it. But then I did a pelvic. I know that was bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a pelvic CT scan, which a GI doctor ordered, and she came back. She said everything looks good. But then I started seeing you, and I'm thinking like coming out to Chicago. But because I had a CT scan, I was trying to get an MRI to do a consultation with you.
I mean,
And so,
either MRI or ultrasound.
well,
Those are better. Those are better.
those are better.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to schedule that tomorrow. And
Okay.
so probably in 2 weeks, I have to get clearance from insurance to get it done. And then so
Gotcha.
another, so because I couldn't make it to Chicago, I saw a black gynecologist here because I was advised to kind of just steer in that direction because, you know, our people are more familiar with what's going on. And so I saw her. She was really detailed. So she's advising me, like you crossed your fingers a while ago, to go do the colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
Is what she showed me the CT scan, and she showed me that it was more like which colon is at the top now. It wasn't down near to the uterus; it was in the top, and I was really backed up. You could see the feces up in there. She's
All
like,
right.
maybe that's something different.
So what's the big issue right now? You having
The
bleeding,
big,
pain? Like what's the
I'm
problem?
bleeding. I'm bloated all the time. Every time I
Gotcha.
eat, just bloated. I could actually feel it in my side. So there are times it just sticks out, like you know, the baby's kicking you kind of thing. It's
Sure.
just really uncomfortable.
All right. So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh gosh, I'm 53, going 54.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So that's the biggest thing is let's get an ultrasound and see what things look like for you. I mean, you definitely have options. At this juncture, you're not trying to have a late baby with IVF somewhere, are you?
Uh, no, I'm done with that. I had two kids, so
Okay,
that's like issue.
got
Like,
you. So
yeah.
yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Just getting a pelvic ultrasound
Mm-hmm.
that will be big, but also too, you should get an endometrial biopsy, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
you know
she actually. I have to schedule that. She's doing that as well.
that's the first and foremost thing. You need an
Okay.
endometrial biopsy. We need to make sure that it's not a cancer that's causing you to bleed. It's very rare for that to happen, but you got to rule that out and make sure that's not the case. And if that's not the case, I mean, if that's normal, which it should be,
Mm-hmm.
then now we have options for you. But the options will come after the ultrasound because this could be a very simple fix. It could be a little bit more complex fix.
Okay.
It just really kind of depends on how big those fibroids are and where they're situated,
Okay.
their
So
the location.
okay, she gave me I can't remember, but I know the last question is that I went on Eliquis last year because
Mm.
um was they're not quite sure what caused the stroke. They're like, okay, it's cryptogenic, so what we're gonna do is just keep it a lifetime blood thinners. But then that's when it started the excessive bleeding. I never had it before. I barely had any period before as well, you know, prior to that. So
Yeah, that's yeah, that's another wrinkle.
I
So did you have a ischemic stroke or a hemorrhagic stroke? Like what did you
mean,
have?
tell me which is it. I was thinking it's ischemic because it was like a thrombosis in the uh
Ischemia.
cerebral venous thrombosis.
Got you.
Bust
Okay. Okay.
vein busted the not the vein, the vessel busted,
Oh, then
and
that's a that's
I was
that's a
bleeding
that's
out.
a that's a hemorrhagic stroke. That's different.
Yes, I was bleeding out.
That's
Yeah.
that that's different. That's a hemorrhagic stroke. So, yeah, we got a lot of pieces of the onion we got to peel back
This
to
and then
find out what makes it.
I was vitamin D deficient. So I'm on vitamin D now, and I
Yeah.
also did rounds of not blood infusion, iron infusion. That was also
So yeah, that's that. Let's do that. So get an ultrasound.
Okay.
And then definitely get that endometrial biopsy because that's important, very important. And then from there, I can best advise you what makes the most sense for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, I'm still
Sounds
trying
good.
to consult with you. I'm just, I think by the end of this month,
Okay,
September, I'll get the MRI
perfect,
results. I'll set up an appointment with you,
perfect.
and also with the what do you call it, that biopsy of the
Yes,
endometrium.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that will help significantly.
Thank you so much for putting
You're
my ears.
welcome.
I wasn't
Don't worry
expecting
about it. We all family. We
so
good.
much because I'm like, I'm going to Chicago. I'm like, no, let
No,
me
you
do,
good.
because I'm based in Philadelphia. So I'm like, let me do the starter first, and then I'll make a choice and see what I'm going to do. And I'm
Got you.
still open to coming out there. I just
All
want to.
right. I look forward to seeing you.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
I'll talk
And
to you later.
bye.
All right.
See you.
Bye bye. Hello. Can you hear me? Damn, I can't hear. Did I? I can't hear you. Can y'all hear me? Oh,
I put the
I'm like,
I
damn.
hit the I hit the mute button on me.
I'm like, damn, is that me?
I had the mute button on just in case the baby. Okay, so what I said was I'm gonna do a submitted question next,
All right.
and before you bring in somebody else.
Okay.
I am 50 years old and I have several fibroids. I am considering a hysterectomy, but I am scared. I am anemic. I have tried Zoladex and I have had Lupron injection, but they said that it is only good for 3 months. Will my fibroids shrink? I did have a shorter period last week.
Got you. So, she said she's what, 53?
50,
All right.
even 50.
50. So, yeah, your fibroids are going to lose some size, but the bigger concern is it, it's most likely not fibroids that are causing you to have this bleeding at 50 years old, right? It's very rare for that to be happening. It's more probable that you're going through something called anovulatory bleeding, where your ovaries are starting to decline. You're not putting out the same amount of hormone. You're not ovulating regularly, and thus your body is responding by bleeding very irregularly. And to that point, fibroids, whether you treat them, remove them, spit on them, kick them, whatever you want to do with your fibroids, is not going to stop that physiologic process from happening. So I wouldn't necessarily focus on the fibroids, but focus on what the source of the bleeding is. And it's probably from the anovulation, and that's what's causing it. So to that point, if you have some very uh, simple and minimally invasive fixes to just fix the bleeding, such as like an endometrial ablation. So if your fibroids are not pushing into the cavity, your cavity is clean, and your fibroids are not excessively large, you could do something like an endometrial ablation, which is an outpatient procedure. It's just burning the lining of the uterus, and that is going to really solve your bleeding issues, and it'll bridge you to, excuse me, it'll bridge you to menopause, and it's not going to be a huge deal for you, not taking medications that have big side effects, nor are you uh having a big surgery, for something that could be simply fixed. So yeah, it's just knowing your options and looking at all your images and scans, and just figuring out, what makes sense. But a lot of times, women in that age group, perimenopausal age, that are having abnormal bleeding, it's from a physiologic process, and that can be uh, really treated without major surgery.
All right. The next question in the chat. Color Red, did having a hysterectomy cause you to go into early menopause?
There it go.
Absolutely, absolutely not. So I did not remove my ovaries during. Well, I didn't do the surgery, but Dr. Johnson did not
I,
remove my
I, I
ovaries.
did not remove the ovaries.
I did
She
not remove
got them.
my ovaries, so I only had my cervix and my uterus removed. So I am not in menopause, or I don't have any symptoms of being in menopause um, at this very moment. I am 44 years old, if age makes a difference too. I will be 45 this year though, but I'm 44 years old. So
Tell them it still work even better than before.
yeah,
That's what they want.
I was trying to tell my husband to join, not to say that, but just to say.
That's a question. That's a
But yeah,
legit question
people
also
do
ask.
have that legitimate question, but I'm not sure how he would answer it. So we got to be careful how we say it with him.
Yeah.
But I wanted him to join to answer a few questions. So if I could get him on tonight, I will. But I don't know what he
So,
was doing. I text him, but we'll see if he shows up. All right, but yes, I don't miss like I started. If you was at the beginning, I do not. The years I suffered, please believe me. Just going 1 month without a period is not making up for it. But I have went almost 3 years with none of that heavy bleeding, none of the embarrassment from the accidents, none of the mental prisoner that you are in your body because you think you got this big secret that you don't want anybody to know, none of the fatigue. I still get symptoms when it's that time of the month, but nothing more than like sometimes I'm a little bit tired, or sometimes I may crave something I wouldn't normally eat. So I know that's like, I never even have a taste for that. So that's super weird. But other than that, like I don't, or sometimes I may get a blemish, but other than that,
no,
I don't.
nobody asking you when you do,
When I do what?
or when are you due, or how many months are
Oh,
you?
exactly. Yes. Nobody thinking I'm pregnant by accident and really unintentionally complimenting, like, oh, you carried the baby well, or look at you still
Oh,
sharp and you a little mama to be. I mean, people really were not trying to be malicious, but yes, people will say, oh, you look like you tired when you having that baby, stuff like that.
mm.
Yes, nobody mistakes me for being pregnant. And my stomach not even flat, but I could fool you. Them upper abs is right. So I could get away with a lot of half tops. Check my feet. All right.
um,
So you say you got somebody that
let
want to join.
me see. Hmm. Yep.
Wonderful. Hi, you guys.
Hello.
Peace,
Oh,
peace,
hello.
Queen.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm okay today. I'll say. Um, but I just want to say I thank you guys for just for what you do and who you are. You're such a blessing, and I'm so thankful that I came across you guys.
So,
First off, I'm 46 years old. I don't have any kids. Um, I actually had a lima bean sized fibroid removed back in 2015 is what I was told.
you said a lima bean?
Yeah, that my gynecologist said that she saw a lima bean sized fibroid that
Oh,
was
okay.
blocking my cervix.
Oh,
That
okay.
was in 2015, so it got removed.
Okay.
Was it laparoscopically or whatever with the I don't
No,
know
she went in through your vagina.
I think so.
You
That's
didn't
the
go.
thing. Yeah.
I think that
So
was probably hysteroscopically, but go ahead.
oh, okay. So she removed the lima bean sized fibroid from that was blocking my cervix.
Yeah, it's
After that,
hysteroscopic. But go ahead.
yeah, after that, I actually was pregnant and I didn't even know it. I was in a car accident and ended up miscarrying.
Okay.
After,
Sorry about that.
yeah, all is well, all is
Good.
well. But let's come on down. Years later, it was just a lot of stress. I had lost my mother to breast cancer,
Nice.
and while she was, yeah, I know,
That's a
while she
lot.
was going, it is. That's a lot of the stress I believe contributed to these fibroids that I have now. I was just diagnosed in March, as a matter of fact, March, with two fibroids that were seen from a pelvic uh,
Ultrasound.
ultrasound. Thank you. What
Okay.
happened was at that time I couldn't have I didn't have the vaginal ultrasound because when you go for that you have to have a full bladder,
Hmm.
and it was just uncomfortable. So the girl just did the pelvic ultrasound on above the on the stomach. They
Yeah,
found two.
abdominal ultrasound. Abdominal ultrasound.
Yeah, now,
It's not that I'm correcting you. It's like when people watch, I try to educate too, so they can kind of. It's all about terminology, so you can, when you go to the doctor, you can understand all of these things. So when I say that, I'm definitely not trying to correct anybody. I'm really just educating everybody. But go ahead.
wow, thank you so much. Because I
No
want to make
problem.
sure that when we're
Yeah,
educated as well.
you got to know. Yeah.
Um, well, come to find out, from the pelvic ultrasound, they found two fibroids. One was 8 centimeters,
Okay.
and one was 5 centimeters. How?
So 8 centimeters is about that big. 5 centimeters is about that big. But
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Come to find out, I went to 3 gynecologists here in Columbus, Georgia, and the only thing they were saying was, "Oh, we got to take that
Get a hysterectomy.
hysterectomy, ma'am. It's over with." And I wasn't ready to accept that for my life. So I got a MRI.
Mm-hmm.
I got the MRI done, and come to find out, I have 5.
You got more than that.
Wow. Yeah.
They're not going to. So those reports are never going to tell you how much you got. They'll just talk about the biggest ones, but they're not going to. So don't hang up on the number. The number that you have isn't the issue. The size and the location is the issue. So everybody comes to me and is like, I got 6, I got 5. Like I just tell people, just multiply it times 5 or 10, whatever number you want to is that number. But that doesn't matter. It's the size and location.
Okay.
Um, so
Well,
right now, what are you experiencing? You experiencing pain, bleeding? What's happening?
I'm going to tell you what I've been experiencing for the past 3 years.
Hmm.
And since my mom was diagnosed, and my mom, before she passed,
See,
it was just all about her.
somebody, yeah. So I remember. So a couple weeks ago, like she had 85 fibroids removed. What is one of my patients that just went in there? So that's 85. I did 130. The most I've ever removed is 304. So
Oh
it's
my,
yeah. So that's out of one tiny woman.
what a
So
relief!
don't get hung up on a number. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're fine. That's good news, because I do have that MRI, and I actually want to send it to you. And I have a PPO insurance plan, by the way.
Cool. No problem.
But um, I've never had any major surgery besides having my teeth pulled.
Hmm.
So I've been very afraid of it. But what I've been experiencing that's really been terrible for the past 3 years is that there's so much crowding in my reproductive area that my cycles come on monthly,
Got you.
every month, like clockwork. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I do have the cycle, my first 2 days are very heavy, and it's like my menses or the blood comes out like I'm pouring Kool-Aid.
Got you.
It's like Kool-Aid.
So let me kind of let me take. And how long have you been having heavy periods? Is it just started recently, or has it
The
been years?
3 years, the past 3 years, and
So
then
let go ahead.
the first 2 days is like it just flows out like water, basically, and then uh, day 3, 4, 5 to 6, I'm having to literally deliver my blood out of my body because everything is so
Got
crowded.
you.
So I'm having to deliver it every month.
All right. This is yeah, you're a perfect person to have this. The perfect person. I want everybody to listen to this, all right? Because this is how I start my consultations and like when people consult with me. And it's a tough conversation to have, but it's a conversation that has to be had, right?
Yeah.
So everyone, every woman, from the time that you started your menstrual cycles to why you're sitting here with me, even my 17-year-old daughter, right? Her ovaries are doing this. Every one
Yeah.
of them. At a
Yeah.
certain juncture, your ovaries are going to start go from here to there. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Typically, yeah. So that can happen in your mid 30s, your late 30s, your early 40s, but by your mid 40s, for certain, this is happening.
Yeah.
No question. When this happens, for the most part, it doesn't it doesn't do much. Like for most women, your cycles will start to spread out. Like now you had, instead of having a cycle every month, now you'll miss a month, or you'll miss 2 months, or you miss 3 months, and then it'll come or what have you, and it'll just space out and it'll get lighter, and then menopause will hit. That's typically what happens. Then there's a minority or a subset of women that when they go through this, it does the opposite. Your body's not ovulating, and you start to bleed very heavy, very irregularly, and it has absolutely nothing to do with fibroids. Two things are true at the same time. You have anovulatory, physiologic, bad bleeding because your ovaries are declining, and you can have fibroids. Now, that's not for everyone, right? Some women have fibroids, and fibroids are really causing them to have problems with bleeding. But when the story goes, typically when you are in your, mid or late 40s, and you just now kind of all of a sudden start to have these abnormal or heavier periods, it typically is physiologic. But that's what MRIs, ultrasounds are for, because they'll tell us where those fibroids are located. Because if you got that 8 centimeter fibroid is sitting into the cavity of your uterus, then there you go. It's reasonable to say that the fibroids can be contributing to your bleeding. The bigger question that you have to ask, that I have to ask you, or that you need to answer is, what is the goal, right? What is the goal? You got two options. It's not, and a lot of times when I ask that, it's like, I just want the fibroids gone. That's not a goal. The goals, that you got two of them. That's it. Number one is, I want to have a baby more than anything in life. I will pay 30, 40, $50,000. I will run through a brick wall. You tell me whatever it is I need to do. If I go to Egypt, Australia, wherever I gotta go, whoever I gotta go see, whatever it is, I want this baby so bad that I will be financially, emotionally, physically prepared to do whatever I have to do. This is that option. The other option is I am tired of bleeding. Bleeding is ruining my life. These fibroids are pushing my belly, protruding my belly. I'm having pain with sex. My husband's complaining. I can't function. Every time my periods come, I can't do anything. I need to fix my quality of life. Those are the two options. One of these has to be more important than the other one. If you answer that question, then I can better help you.
Okay.
What's the answer? What do you want?
Well, I'm pretty much lively, and I'm real steady, Freddie, with someone,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to conceive. So that's
Okay.
the answer.
Perfect. All right. So if that is the case, now we're talking about time. Now we're talking about we're having an issue, right? So because if that is the goal, the only way we're talking about surgery to remove fibroids to preserve your uterus is if you have a plan to get to that goal, right? You got a uniform on right now, you working, you got a 9 to 5, you got a whole goal
Yeah.
with your job, you got a whole goal with buying cars, you got a whole goal with buying your house or what have you, everything. But when I talk to women, a lot of times it's like, well, if a man come down and God bless me, and if my rent get paid, and if all of these things happen, it's absolutely no plan or no goal. It has to be a plan and a goal, because if you're going to put your body through the anguish of having surgery to preserve your uterus, you need to have a very logical, realistic, palpable goal to get to where you're trying to get to. And if you do not, it doesn't make sense to go in there to start to remove fibroids. But if you do, absolutely, myomectomies and things to get you to that goal is what's going. It's very important. So to that end, this is where I would start, because we're late.
I know.
We should have been. We can't talk about what we should have been doing, but right now we late. And so to that point, you don't have any time to play any games. Like today, like literally today as we speak, the plan and the goals need to start. The number one thing that needs to happen is you need testing. You need lab testing to see where your ovaries are, where what your body is doing right now. So three tests. Number one is an AMH. It's an anti-Malarian hormone, right? That's what you need.
Okay.
AMH. Anti-Mullerian hormone will say what your egg quality is. Like, you have a shelf life to your eggs. Are your eggs expired, or do you got a little bit more time? If you have time, right, then you need to freeze eggs yesterday. You need to go through a IVF cycle to get eggs, mix them with your partner's sperm, create embryos, and freeze them so that you can give yourself time to prepare your womb. You got to time stamp it right now. You need time is of the essence.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing you got to do. Get those 3 tests. Talk about freezing eggs, right, and then getting embryos, and then we can talk. Because the truth of the matter is, if I could do your surgery tomorrow, which I cannot,
All right.
but if I could do your surgery tomorrow, you cannot even think about pregnancy until 2025,
Right.
right?
Right.
And if that's the case, I don't care what you do. This ain't stopping. This is
You're
not.
right.
This is going. This is going to keep going. What mama and them say, I got bills. I got to go to work. I need to go to school. None of that shit
Right.
matters.
Right.
When we're talking about the biological and physiological clock of your life, this is going to continue. And to do what you're trying to do, you have to have some type of insurance policy and to timestamp what you're trying to do. You have
Okay.
to do that. You don't drive your car without insurance. You're not planning your life or planning your future with pregnancies without having an insurance policy.
All that's
Going
all
to
them
going
all that's checked
Yeah,
off.
going to. So you have
Yeah.
this. You went to the. You have it. What do you got? Where are you at in that process?
Oh, okay. Well, I want to go back because you said there's 3 tests that I need. You said the
Yes.
AMH test, and
Yes.
what were the other 2?
FSH, which is follicular stimulating hormone, so FSH, and a test called estradiol. So FSH is basically a test to say, is your brain telling your ovaries to really to wake up and produce more estrogen, or is your brain like, it's cool, the ovaries are still working really well? Estradiol is saying if your ovaries are really producing the estrogen that you're supposed to be doing, is they're active, is lively, right? If that's low and the FSH is high, that means menopause is either here or starting.
Okay. Um.
And then the AMH looks at the quality of your eggs. All 3 of those you need.
All right. I just took a note of those. And
Yes.
you were asking about I've got the health insurance, I've got the life insurance, I've got the car insurance, the house, I got
Yeah.
the insurance. I'm insured fully.
Yep. Perfect.
Now, I want
Perfect.
to say this, because I was afraid of, surgery because like I said, I hadn't had any major surgery besides wisdom teeth pulled.
Hmm.
Um, I opted to have the minimally invasive UFE, and that's
No.
going to happen next
Are you
month.
doing? No, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. If you're my sister, my auntie, my mama, my cousin, we on there. I tell you right now, I got women in my family. I do this every day. I literally have, once I get off of here, I'm going back. I was 5 hours of surgery to blood to the knees. Like, first time ever, like, I bled so much blood it to my underwear. I had to change my clothes. That's what I was doing, saving somebody's uterus today. Right? This is what I do. No one does more fibroid surgery than me. I'm confident in that. No one does more fibroid surgery than me. To that point, I will tell you, I do not endorse it. I will not tell Camille Johnson, Aldell Johnson, Pearson Johnson, nobody in my family to do that. And I will tell you the exact same thing. So if that's anything for you, you take that for what it's worth. I wouldn't tell my family to do it. I wouldn't tell you to do it either. But you can listen to whoever you want to listen to. But I would say absolutely not.
Okay, because I'm actually scheduled for August the 29th to get it done.
It's an easy cancellation. It's about what you're trying to do. You trying to have babies or whatever. That's not getting you no closer to the goal, mama. It's
Oh
not.
God. See, because the way they explained it, they were saying that the UFE will cut off the blood supply to the fibroids, and I might end up passing vaginally, and I'm
Mhm.
just like terrified at the thought. And I'm
So
like,
th- so think so think about it. If you would, do you want to cut off your blood supply to anything in your life?
no,
I mean, in your body,
It's so
in your
scary.
body,
It's
that
so
makes sense.
scary. Just because
You don't, unless you want to lose it, you don't want to cut off the blood supply to it,
I'm
and
like, what,
that's my
what if
position.
I cut off the blood supply to my uterus? I mean, this is what I've been thinking. I'm scared. I'm petrified.
I will tell you more in depth about it. Like I talk, it's a post. If you go in my thing, I kind of go a little bit more in depth of why I don't approve of it. I don't recommend that for you. I wouldn't do that. There are other things that you could do. That's not the one that I would suggest. It's an option. It's definitely an option. Even if you ever consult with me, and that's for anybody to consult with me, I give it to you as an option. My job is not to take options. I give you my recommendations and my thoughts, but I would never say, "Oh, absolutely not." I will never talk to you if you do that. But if you do that, you do that. Just like yesterday. So I had surgery today. I had surgery yesterday. Yesterday, women had a UFE. Like I have patients that have UFEs all the time. I do surgery on women that have UFEs a lot. I would say a very strong, I don't know the percentage, but it's at least 20, 30% of women that come to me for surgeries have had UFEs.
Wow.
So that if that gives you any information. But well, we can talk some more about it. You just let me know what you want me to do. But
Yeah, we're in July right now, and I'm glad I'm on here. I see all the comments saying no.
those are
And
yeah, those,
I forgot you,
yeah,
my beautiful lady down there in the corner. I forgot your name, but thank you. I saw you did the Wakanda X.
yeah. Just scroll
I saw you.
scroll through them. They a lot of these women like that you're seeing. These are people that have had surgery from me. Starting with cola, like all of these women have had surgery from me, so you're getting real time of from women that have been through it with me,
Okay.
so I don't, because that's how I operate and how I roll. I'm an open book.
Okay.
I want you to don't just listen to me. I want you to talk to my patients, my friends, the women that have actually been through the process, and talk to them. It's they'll tell you. They'll tell you from personal experience. Some of these women have had UFEs. Some of these women that are commenting on here have had UFEs and then have had surgery with me. They'll tell you. So just make informed decisions. Everything you do, just make an informed decision
Okay.
about what you're trying to do.
Okay, Dr. P.
Cool.
Dr.
Pleasure.
P and the young
Pleasure to meet
lady,
you.
thank
Cola.
you so much.
That's cool.
Y'all will be
Yeah,
hearing from me. I'm gonna have to cancel this.
Yes,
I
for
got
sure.
to.
you should.
Cancel it, sweetie. All right.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All
I don't know
right.
how to cut this
All right.
off.
Yeah,
I got you.
he gonna let
I
you
got you.
out.
Okay.
All right. So guess who
It got me. It
joined?
got me to preaching.
Oh well, my
What's
closet dirty.
what's
Look,
up,
my
Leon? I saw
closet
you
dirty. You
hopping
gotta school. My
in.
closet
Mine
dirty.
is too. I saw people hopping up and hey everybody. I saw some people just
Okay,
saying
so
what's up,
this
what's happening.
my husband, y'all.
What's going on,
And
Doc?
he
How you
already
doing,
know
King?
that.
What's
What
going
up?
on, bro?
What
All
up?
right. So a lot of people always want to know. Well, first and foremost, behave. Okay, is this, let me tell you to behave first, though. Okay, so first and foremost, a lot of people want to know. So you've been with me since I first got diagnosed with fibroids. What was the hardest part as my spouse watching me suffer?
Um, well, let me just start by saying the crime scene or the blood scene was terrible. I mean, if I want to know where she was at in the house, I just follow the leak. It was just blood. It was really a mess. It was really like your young lady said was like Kool-Aid coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Exact same way. Couldn't go on vacations or had to plan around vacations
Mm-hmm.
because you never know when she's gonna bleed or mess up something. So it wasn't a bother. I was understandable. Me being a guy, I figured that's just the way it is. That's what happens. And she was suffering a lot. And even being intimate she was in pain. Wasn't like I was putting it down like that. You know what I'm saying? She was just
Yeah.
uncomfortable pain. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't be doing that. She's in pain. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's one of the things I think that she had to live with. So I just had to deal with because she was living with it. By
Yeah.
all means, I'm so glad she got it done, though. I mean,
Night night and
total
day difference,
360.
huh?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, man.
Right. So another question people always have is it a difference to you being intimate before versus after? The clean version. Jesus.
We'll talk later, dumb
No.
I mean, it's the same. It's great, baby. Yeah, it's great.
They want to know, like, cause like, all right, I'll tell
Yeah,
you
like the
the issue.
rumors
So
are.
so the women say, like, they feel that it's not going to get lubricated like it would be, like it's not going to be the same, like it's going to be different. He's going to feel the difference. That's the
Oh
Right.
women's
no.
concern.
That's the myths
The
that are
the
out
the
there.
the men don't really have a concern, because like it's like you don't know the
Yeah,
difference, so it's like,
right.
yeah, so this is, you're answering for the women to hear it from a man's perspective. That,
Well,
that's that's what you're answering.
we're trying to
Yeah,
keep it clean. It's
yeah,
it's the same. It's not. It hasn't changed at
right.
all.
Can you
Uh,
feel like, oh my God, you had a hysterectomy?
no, no, no,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah,
Like you like, oh my God, it's an empty space right there.
right, exactly.
My thing is, oh my God, I ain't got to wait 7 days,
You
5 days.
like
No, ain't no
it's
waiting.
like, I'm
Oh,
bleeding. No, you're not. Can't
no,
use
you're
that
not. Ain't trying
excuse
to
no
hear.
more. Get
Ain't no
ready.
that, man, man. Ain't got to wait for
Bullshit.
nothing.
Bullshit. You've been
Exactly.
using you've been leaning on that excuse too long, mom. It's over with.
Right, right.
Get
Man, that's the
ready.
best part, man.
Right.
And we don't have to plan
Not at
vacation,
all.
or like when we planning group vacations, other people scheduling. Like I got to think about. I'd be like, just tell me the dates.
Man,
It don't even matter.
I'm out.
at all.
I'm
Man,
always gonna be a bathing suit ready. So just tell me the dates.
I know. I know.
So yeah, it's
It don't
definitely.
change. It don't change nothing, bro. I always say if they was trash in the beginning, they're gonna be trash. I mean, if they're great, they're great. Plain and
That's a
simple.
that's a true.
Hey,
These are true
that's what
statements.
I'm saying.
These are
My
true
bad.
statements. Yeah, it's not a it can't change trash to gold.
No, sir. Not at all. No,
If
not
it's
at
trash,
all.
if it's trash before, it's just gonna be
It's
trash.
just more trash.
Just more trash. Just cleaner trash, but it's trash. Just so you know.
I knew I shouldn't have asked
Hey, that's what I'm
I
trying to
got I
avoid.
got I got testosterone energy in here now.
That's right.
I'm happy. That's a that's a beautiful shirt, by the way, brother.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
I know I had this. Okay, yeah,
Oh
good for
yeah,
you. My
that
bad.
is him.
My father do a laundry, bro. That's
Nah,
what
it's
I
cool.
had.
Hey, it look good, man.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
Any
what's
other bell question?
another question?
I think that was it for the males. People just
Okay.
really always
Yeah, I just want to
like,
hear you.
am I more moody? Do it seem like I'm a bitch, or stuff like that? Like,
Oh no.
it's you just it's better.
Way better. I mean, before you used to be kind of moody on them days, I would know when it's coming because you just act a certain way. Now it's like you, like a fella, you act the same way all day, every 24/7. We kick it, we
Nice.
kick it. She don't feel like it. She working. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
No change of behavior. I'm waiting for this menopause to hit. See how it's really gonna be though. That's what I'm waiting
First
on.
of
Right.
all, yeah.
Plus, you said it got to the age. It's like this. It'll start going down like this. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
what
No,
is that?
it may not be anything. Like a lot of women go through menopause and they just keep it moving. It's nothing.
Okay,
So it doesn't impact people the same way. Put it that
gotcha,
way. So
gotcha.
don't prepare for the worst. It's just see what it do.
Let's see what it is. All right, if after I pack up, then it's good, it's cool.
All right. Well,
What's
thank you for joining. I appreciate
See,
it.
y'all be saving a lot of women on. So I
Yeah,
got
we
good
definitely be
questions,
talking
man.
to a
That's
lot of
tight.
women.
I'm up. I'm still on
No,
camera.
you
So
can stay.
no,
You can stay. I'm just going to the next question.
go ahead.
All right. Next question. I had my fibroids removed, but I still am anemic. Is there an iron supplement that you suggest that doesn't cause constipation?
food? Fortifying your foods with iron, but more importantly, you need to figure out what the true source of that bleeding is from. So it, like I said, there are other sources of bleeding other than just fibroids. So if there's another source, whether it be possibly polyps, yeah, beets is a food. So it's multiple foods with iron, but polyps, adenomyosis, endometriosis, chronic stress, like there's other things that can cause you to have abnormal bleeding. So I would say first and foremost, figure out what the source is. Like once you find the source, then start working on the source, and then you can improve your blood by just keeping more blood. That's even better.
All right. Next, one more submitted question, and then is it anybody waiting to join?
Yes, people waiting to join.
Okay, one more. How can degenerating fibroid pain be managed during the second trimester? I was
Mm.
given a 48-hour course of endomethacin.
Endomethacin.
Okay,
Hmm.
endomethacin for a 9 centimeter fibroid. What are other alternatives to manage pain?
It's tough. So it's a lot of just symptom relief stuff like, warm baths and warm compresses to the belly, sometimes mixing in between heat and cold, stretching, the foods that you eat, eating anti-inflammatory, having an anti-inflammatory diet, like cutting out a lot of the dairy and a lot of other things that can cause inflammation in your diet. So, those are some of the, you know, easier ways to do it. But pain pill wise, like definitely never any ibuprofen. You cannot take ibuprofen. You can do Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol. Those works, but it's heavier medications. You can't do pain wise, but those are some of the things that can help with it. But it's just delivery and after pregnancy is done, and can address the fibroids. But while pregnancy is occurring, it's just really some of those things to help with the symptoms.
All right,
All
let's
right.
rotate to someone trying to join.
Okay. Let's see. It's a lot of people trying to get on here. Well, mm, there we
Hey,
go.
how you doing?
Hey,
Good. How you
I'm
doing?
you.
doing well. I had about 12, 13 years ago, I had fibroid surgery.
Hmm.
I had the removal. And when I got pregnant with my son, they grew back. And now they grew back so big, my doctor, he told me, we had to do something about it. So they telling me that being that I had scar tissue from the cesarean and the removal, that they suggesting that I get a hysterectomy. And I just turned 38 years old and I'm not ready for that at all. So I did my MRI. I go see my doctor Monday morning. And I was wondering, how do you feel about this urine thyroid radio frequency ablation procedure?
I
I
think it's
inboxed you back in the day, but I took a long time to respond back. But
so
yeah.
the procedure that you're speaking of for everybody else is called Excessa. So it's a laparoscopic radio frequency ablation of fibroids. For the right cases, it's a great procedure. Um, it's also size dependent. When your fibroids get too large, it loses some of the benefits. So if you have fibroids that are greater than 10 centimeters, you can do it, but it's 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 not as effective. Um, and it's really about what you're treating, right? So Excessa is good for bulk symptoms. Bulk symptoms are uh, like pain with sex, uh, pain and cramping with your bleeding, frequency of urination if you have like a fibroid that's sitting on the top of your uterus by your bladder, um, infertility. Like so, those are kind of like bulk symptoms, meaning the size of the fibroid and the hardness of the fibroid is causing things to push and move and causing those type of symptoms. The thing that I didn't mention is bleeding, right? So bleeding is one of those things where doctors really don't understand, or they're not using their common sense when they're counseling patients. Because if someone comes to me saying, "Hey, I'm just having horrible bleeding, I want excessive," I would look at their ultrasound to first see where these fibroids are located. If your fibroids are not in the cavity and they're on the perimeter and the muscle of your uterus, the chances are they're probably not causing a significant amount of, or they don't have a lot of
I don't know what happened to the sound.
Sorry, no, I was getting a call. I had to ignore it. So performing excessa um, is probably not going to do significantly as in the light of trying to help you with your bleeding. So it's about what you're trying to accomplish, right? And if it's just for bleeding, it can help, but it really depends on where those fibroids are located in your uterus to give a better idea about what the results are going to be. And then, so the other question would be like, are you trying to have more children?
I'm I don't want to lose my uterus either, because
It's
like I said, they
it's
say
it's
it.
not just that. It's not
Yeah, I
just
don't really want
losing your.
any more. I have one son, and I thank God for that. I have one child, but I'm like they talking because I have scar tissue because they was big, and they removed them, and I got pregnant, and
Sure,
they're about the same size. I'm assuming. I guess
but
we're gonna go over the MRI Monday.
yeah, you were
So I'm like,
saying you were saying you don't really want to remove your uterus because of you were about to say something.
yeah, I don't want to go through menopause. I'm like, I don't know if that is that true. Like, am I gonna?
I had
There
my
you go.
uterus removed
You
3 years
talking for
ago. I am not in menopause.
Okay, because that's what I'm scared, and I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted my
so
Ladies,
lady.
you're
ladies,
so
I just
please.
wanted my lady part.
Hysterectomy is not a death
it's
sentence.
not
Trust and believe me.
so
Okay.
Hysterectomy, when it makes
so
sense, it is not a death sentence. Sorry, Dr. P, I didn't
no,
mean.
no,
It
I'm
is
sorry. Go ahead.
it is not a death sentence. So I get personal inboxes all the time about this. That's just why I want to say, ladies, please, hysterectomy is not a death sentence. How they do it is very important. So you definitely have to review your options with how it's done. Um, Definitely, Dr. Johnson always talks about vertical incisions being a no-no. I was able to get mine laparoscopic by the grace of God because I definitely was over the threshold, but he
Right.
fought he fought to do it that way for
Yeah.
me. But hysterectomy is definitely not a death sentence. And the biggest myth out there is that it's direct relation to you being in menopause. Your ovaries control that, not your uterus.
Okay. Because my sister, she had one about last year, and because she had fibroids, but hers grew as big as her child. Hers was like 7 pounds, and
Yep.
she had got hers removed because she tried to do the birth control way, and then she had blood clot on her lungs,
Oh no.
and then they stopped that. They stopped the birth control. Then she started bleeding out of control, and she did the hysterectomy, but she did it vaginally, and she said she had a lot of problems when they, took the uterus out the vaginal way,
So, and this is what I
and
caution
she
everyone.
was saying how she had sweats and stuff, like she was sweating real bad.
So I caution everyone, like, well, the thing that we don't do is ask very specific questions.
Yep.
So just like you just heard someone say they had a hysterectomy and had all of these things that went right, and you have somebody have a hysterectomy and all of these things that went wrong, understanding the specifics about what they went through, what was taken out. Did your sister have her ovaries removed?
Okay.
Did they have to cut? Did they have to do other things? Like, how did they do it? Who did it? Under what circumstances did they do it? These are the questions that we don't ask. All we hear is she had hysterectomy, she had all type of problems, and that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody on here, I promise you, you could see it. You could find about 8 to 10 women that have all had robotic hysterectomies by me, and they have stories similar to Cola.
Okay.
So it's about all of those other ancillary things that pertain to what their particular case is. Because right now I could talk to my mama. She got friends, aunties, and that have had hysterectomies, and you would have thought that they just lost their whole entire life, like it was the worst thing in the world. But they got cut hip to hip. They got cut, from privates to their chest. And just listening right now, I can promise you, if your sister had 7 pound fibroid, it was not vaginal. 1,000%. She did
Okay.
not. They did not remove a vaginal
Yeah.
a uterus with a 7 pound fibroid through the vagina. I 1,000% guarantee you that that didn't happen. So it's about understanding exactly what happened and why she's feeling that. If she's having sweats, did they take her ovaries out?
Okay.
Cola didn't have her ovaries taken out. You don't have to have your ovaries taken out. Doctors do things that are not right a lot, so you got to be very careful about when you hear those stories because, like she was saying, hysterectomy is not for everyone. However, it's not a death sentence either. If it's right for your particular case, then it's right, right? Because the difference between going to treat or remove fibroids and doing all of those things is as long as you have a uterus in your body, you have a potential for problems. It's just a fact, right? I can do whatever I want to your fibroids. As long as that uterus is there, you have a potential for problems. You are okay and you live with those problems or possible problems because you want to use your uterus for something. And if you want to use it for something, by all means, live with the problems, deal with them. Let's put a band-aid on them so you could get to what you're trying to do. But if you're not, then hysterectomy should be on the table if your uterus is giving you those type of problems. Somebody said, "What's wrong with vaginal removal?" There's nothing wrong with it. My point is that 7 pounds is not going to be.
Right.
You're not
Maybe I
getting
need
a
to get
vaginal
more
hysterectomy
research.
there.
I just
Yeah,
got one
so
more
that's
question,
it.
and then I'm gonna let somebody else go. I just got one more
Sure,
question.
sure,
So when I
sure.
had my fibroids removed the first time, it was liposuction. They made incisions through my stomach.
Right,
So if I
right.
is it possible that I could get a hysterectomy the same way, being that I
Absolutely.
already had that?
And let me give you even more of a news flash for you that probably like, oh, your fibroids didn't come back. Your fibroids were not all removed.
You right.
When you
You know what? You right because
yeah,
when I was about 25 when it happened. She did tell me that it was some that was so small that she did not want to remove them. You right. They just grew
yeah.
bigger
So
once I got
they
pregnant.
just grew bigger. That's all.
Yeah, when I got pregnant, they grew bigger. But she did. You right. She did tell me that she left some small ones there, but now they're big.
That's all.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate both of you guys for helping me out.
You're
And I
very,
think I'm
very,
gonna
very
come up with a
welcome.
decision because I
All
don't want
right.
to keep going through this.
I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just
All
let me
right.
know how I can help. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
All right, so we at the first hour. You want to keep going?
Yeah, we could do like 10 because I got to get to the hospital and see my patients. So we could do like 10 more minutes and then call it one.
Okay. So do you want me to just do questions for the last 10 minutes?
Uh, uh, dang, it's
Or do
so
you want
many people. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let a couple of y'all on here, but let's do it quick though, cause they been on here. I don't wanna just leave people on here and not do it. Let's just try to do it.
the sarcastic one? Yes, get your purse when they say they gonna leave some.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
She said that she ran from a doctor who told her he may need to leave some.
Yeah, she should. I tried to let her in here. Um, it might be IG not letting people be great. It's possible. Um, let somebody else in here. Maybe it's not. I don't know. IG bot is doing that thing where it's not letting people join stuff. Oh, there goes somebody.
Hi, hello.
Hi,
Hello, how
how
are
are you?
you?
Yeah, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear
Hi.
you. Yes, and yes,
Okay.
I do accept patients from Canada. I got multiple people from Canada that have had surgery. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, perfect. I know you gotta go. Try to make it quick. I'm
Sure.
45. Had fibroids forever. They're huge. Look like I'm pregnant.
I see
As
it.
y'all can see, look like I'm 9 months pregnant. I live in Rhode Island. I've been to many of doctors to the point where they say I've been to the top doctor here. Everyone states the same thing that I have to be cut from the bottom to the top, which I just can't accept. I'm afraid. I've never had any surgery, so I am very, very, very afraid. I have stents in my both of my kidneys that due to the fibroids that I have to get changed out every 3 months. I
Yep.
have went from a decent quality of life in this last year to a very poor quality of life. My legs swell up. I'm super bloated. I'm uncomfortable in my own body. I feel like I'm worried because of the stents and the placement of everything because my kidneys are pretty much crushed, one of them, but they put stents in both of my kidneys. I'm just worried. I don't care if I need to get a hysterectomy. I just don't want to be split open.
That's my word. That's what I do. Easy.
So like I don't know if I know you say send like if you do a consultation, but I don't know if you would have to actually see it because of the placement of everything. Because basically they say the fibroids are covering my whole body. Like I've
Yeah,
seen a picture, they're covering from the front to the back.
that's what I
So
do. So yeah. So no, I don't have to say. I just saw it. Right.
yeah, yeah, you
So
yes, yes.
the thing about it that people like so what I would like to do is see like your ultrasound, MRI, whatever imaging you have. So I would like to see that and just ask you some very pertinent questions about your history and things or what have you. But that's all I need. A lot of people will say like, "Well, you don't have to. He ain't do no exam. He ain't see nobody. They just come." And to that point, like what you don't what they don't understand is that all of those things to like see somebody and to do it like it has to be able to change your management. Like me
Mhm.
seeing, hearing everything or what have you. I know what I gotta do. I just know what I gotta do. And none of those things are going to change what I have to do. Like, and I'm not going to know what you have on the inside. Now, see, so Danielle is the perfect person I was thinking of. See, you see that person right there, Danielle Cross Carter, 20 pounds. You don't have 20 pounds. I promise you. I just saw your belly. You don't have what she had. She had 20 pounds.
Okay.
She literally had to the point where the fibroids weren't just pressing on her kidneys, they were pressing on her big vein in her body. It's called the inferior vena cava. So it's
Mhm.
pressing on her inferior vena cava, and it was causing a fluid overload. So blood holds volume of water and fluid, right? So when you do that, you could cause compression, and then that fluid will spill off into the rest of your body. So she had fluid that was spilling up to her right lung to the point where her entire right lung was filled with fluid. She had to get it drained seven times in a year, where they had to take a needle, stick it out, and literally 2 liters worth of fluid were pulled out of her lungs 7 times over a year. And before I operated on her, I, with my own eyes, sat there and watched them put a needle in her and pull
Mhm.
out 2 liters of fluid out of her lung. That's what she had. And to the point where I went to her belly, and and she don't mind me telling her because she's an open book. But when I went into her belly, that fibroid, which was the biggest fibroid I personally have ever seen, but that fibroid commandeered, it took blood supply from her bowel. It literally took a portion of her bowel this big, and it took over the entire blood supply from that bowel to where we had to cut that bowel out because it was useless and remove that. She kept her uterus. She had an incision this
Mhm.
big to remove all of this stuff. And she's doing phenomenal. No more fluid, no more anything. But the point I'm making to you is it's not an MRI, ultrasound, nothing that I saw from her that was going to change what I did that day. She even came, her and her husband, they came before because they wanted me to physically say, "Hey, look me in my eyes and say, can you do this? Like, this is
Right.
like, we want you to see it. And then you look us in our eyes and say, yes, I can do it." So that's cool. Like, for that, they wanted just the assurity of me actually seeing them and saying, hey, yes, I can do it. I'm confident I can do it. That's fine. But that's really all I needed from them. I didn't need to examine. I never examined her one time beforehand, other than press on her belly. So there's not a tougher case than hers. I can tell you right now, your case, even though it's laying on your kidneys, it's definitely not as tough a case as hers. So she's like the benchmark for everything. Everybody else is is cake. Not cake. It's
Okay.
some will get really easy. I won't say that. Not cake. Cola, you wasn't cake either. But to that point, I've been doing these hard cases for so long and really have gotten to a comfortability to where nothing really makes me nervous. It should make me nervous, but I'm not nervous. So to your point, yes, you've been to all of these specialists or what have you. Danielle, she went to Johns Hopkins. She went to every major hospital up and down the East Coast to try to fix this issue. I'm not bragging on myself. I'm just stating facts of I deal with this particular issue. Women in your particular, it's not a lot of you. Like women that have fibroids, it's this, and then it's women like you that are like really a very small subset, and you're in that realm of women that have advanced fibroid disease. I'm very comfortable in this. I'm comfortable with it all, but I specialize in that. So to that end, I can help you. I can fix it. It doesn't make me nervous. I've done it countless times. I can help you. And you will not get cut from your privacy of your chest. I've never done a vertical incision, a primary vertical incision in my career. I have not performed now to that point, you would be battling. If I have to do a hysterectomy, that's going to be a challenge to do it robotically because like Cola, your situation is similar to Cola's to where for me to do a robotic hysterectomy, I have to be able to get the ports in. I have to be able to get those instruments in to be able to move. And if your fibroid is literally on at your diaphragm in your chest, and I can't get things in there, I can't do it laparoscopically. So
Yeah.
that part I wouldn't know. So if you were trying to get a hysterectomy, that I would have to see how much room that I could play with. But even if I had to do a hysterectomy, you may be the first horizontal low incision hysterectomy, but I guarantee you I would never do a vertical incision hysterectomy. If I had to do an open one, it still would be like I would do a myomectomy instead. I would just be removing your uterus.
Okay.
The same thing. Bikini incision, same thing.
Okay. All
Cool.
right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
And
very,
to the
very
lady
welcome.
that was, I just want to say to the woman that was talking about the uterine artery embolization, I had one. Just trust him if you're going to trust him. Don't get that canceled, please. It did nothing. You see where I'm at.
Yeah.
So thank you so
You're
much.
very
I
welcome.
really appreciate it.
I'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you
joining
soon.
in.
All right.
Bye.
She was a really good one. That's really good. Like I love having those type of conversations because there's women in here that have that um that need to hear that. So that was awesome of her to do that. And to actually show what her belly look like because they be like, oh yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
look like. Like
yeah, absolutely.
all right, y'all. So I'm gonna do one more of these. Hold on. I tried to do this pure head. Tried to put her in here, but she's not going. Yes, there's so yeah, so DM me. I can talk to you about the financing for my out of my patients that are out of country, Canadian patients, so I can kind of show you what that looks like. She was invited. She's not picking up, but let me see. Um, either. All right, last one. Let's try. So I tried, y'all. Y'all not either. Hey, there we go.
There we
Last one.
go.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I wrote a couple times about I have a cervical fibroid.
Okay.
Um, so I live in Ohio. I've met with I'm not sure if you know Cleveland Clinic.
Hmm.
Do
So I met with the doctor of fertility there.
Yep.
He wants to do my surgery robotically. It's a little nervous about it. I don't not feeling real comfortable about it.
A cervical fibroid?
Yeah.
So you can actually visualize it with a speculum through your vagina, or is it cervical just on ultrasound or MRI?
So I have the MRI results too, because I had two MRIs done.
Okay.
Um,
Can you read me the impression? Do you have it to read?
I do. Let me see how I could do that with.
You could probably cut us off. But yeah, we kind of messed up.
Okay, can
There
you hear me?
you can
Yeah,
hear
there
you.
you go.
Okay, so I'm looking at my MRI results,
Uh-huh.
so I'll be able to tell you exactly where it is.
That's Los Angeles. We all over the country.
Yeah,
Good
it's a lot
stuff.
of different cities tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It says intramural but contacts in endometrium, but it's
Okay.
cervical. I don't know what else I can read on there. No doctor really wants to do my surgery.
Got it.
My OB referred me out. I actually talked to another doctor who does a CESA out of California. He said he's the founder of it.
Dr. Bruce Lee
Yep,
is
he
his
actually
name.
called me. Yep, he
Yeah,
actually called me. Told me that my robotic surgery, he wouldn't recommend it.
I would agree with him.
Okay, so you're thinking the same thing too, because I'm scheduled for
Yeah.
it and I'm terrified of it.
So
Um,
I would say this. Number one, you 99 times out of 100, you have more than that, just that one fibroid. You have other fibroids. And I
okay.
would I would say this to you. When that can it be done robotically? Yes, probably.
Yeah, he
Like
said
it
he's
no,
done one of mine a year.
listen, it can be done in the right hands, it can be done successfully.
Okay.
All right. So not to say that it can't be. The issue is this. These are the things you want to think about. And this is why I don't endorse robotic myomectomies.
Okay.
I stopped performing robotic myomectomies about 6 years ago. Right.
Okay.
I am a robotic surgeon. I've
Right.
proctored for Intuitive. I've been doing robotic surgery since 2010, 14 years.
Right.
Right. The reason that I do not endorse robotic myomectomies, I endorse robotic surgery. Robotic hysterectomies, absolutely. Cola is a robotic hysterectomy. I don't endorse robotic myomectomies. Two reasons. The first reason is this: when you start to remove fibroids, when fibroids are removed from your womb, you are now obligated for a C-section.
Right.
Right? And it's especially if you have a fibroid that's that low and it's impacting close to your cervix, you 1000% need a C-section when you get pregnant and have your baby. That's number
Right.
one.
I've had one already. I actually was pregnant with
Even
my daughter and had it. Yep.
even worse, you are 100% obligated for a C-section. Number two, the key to fibroid surgery and for you not returning for fibroids in the future is to remove all of your fibroids. The
Okay.
chances of you removing all of your fibroids robotically are nil to none. The only way that you can really do that is to go in and to feel the uterus and feel. Like I can't even count the number of fibroids that I removed from this woman today that had a vertical incision myomectomy, mind you, but she had well over 50 some odd fibroids. I would not have gotten
Wow.
at least 15 or 20 of them without being able to do this. When you use a robot, all you could do is see. And if you have small pea size, marble size fibroids that are in there, they're going to stay in there. And those can be big fibroids in 5, 6,
Right.
7, or even less years. So these are the reasons why I don't endorse robotic myomectomies. In addition to that, the key of your surgery is to meticulously repair your damage appropriately. You have to do that correctly. Removing the fibroids is part of the issue. Actually putting you back anatomically, structurally, meticulously intact is the other part. Because if you remove fibroids and you do not put you back intact, you are rendering you infertile and it's pointless at that
Right.
point. So you really have to be meticulous about it. A lot of doctors are not very meticulous. And in addition to that, sometimes if there's a lot of damage, you really have to be very pinpoint and see what you're doing. And it's hard to do that robotically if it's really, 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 really damaged. So those are the reasons why I don't endorse it. It really depends on, to Dr. Lee's point, as far as Excessa or robotically assisted, not robotic assisted, but laparoscopic radiofrequency ablation. It really depends, one, what your goal is. You know, if you're trying to have more children, if that fibroid is really impacting and pushing into that cervix, and you are at a timetable crunch now where you like, hey, your late 30s, early 40s, and you don't really have a lot of time to play with, and pregnancy is your number one option, excessive probably is not, doesn't make a lot of sense. Because
Okay.
you know, if you do it and it works, great, but what if you do it and then 6, 7, 8 months we still not getting pregnant, and you got to go through IVF, and now they're like, hey, this fibroid has to come out. Now you've lost 8 months or a year of valuable time that you could have had, you know, planning your fertility future. So that's my only caveat to Excessa. Excessa is great, but it really just depends on where you're at, what you're doing, and what's happening, as far as if it makes a lot of sense for you. So yeah. So
So
that's
yeah,
my take on that.
I'm 33, so I don't know
Okay, so
what
you
my
got time. You got some
so I
time.
have
Go
time.
ahead.
I have one. I have one daughter. But
Gotcha.
I'm just wondering what my best approach for this would be, knowing the size and location of it.
Yeah, I would really need to see that more closely. I need to see what that MRI result and stuff really
Okay.
shows. You have a little bit more time, so you know, excessive. I would not. Robotic myomectomy, I would not do. If you did do Excessa, yes, it could. Give you some time, and you can, you know, try to conceive naturally, or even if it's not pushing into that cavity, you may possibly can go through an IVF cycle. But it really just depends on what your plan is and what you're trying to
Right.
do, and that also is just predicated off where it's at and what it looks like.
Okay. So that would be a consult with you.
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
I'll look
then
over
if
all that stuff and I'll tell you exactly what I think. To the point of Excessa, there are very few doctors in this country that I would trust doing
okay.
that procedure. Dr. Lee is absolutely definitely one of them. He created it,
Right.
but they're not. I go around this country and I teach Excessa, and I
Okay.
will tell you, there are a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. A lot. So don't trust that. So
Right.
yeah, if you fly out to Dr. Lee, I'm skilled as well, but you could do either of
Okay.
those if you really want to do Excessa, um, and if that's the right option for you. But just be very careful about who you allow to do that surgery.
Right. So if you have you had any of your patients do Orlissa before doing like a cervical fibroid removal?
Uh, no, like it's I mean, Orlissa would be, or Orion actually. So Orlissa would be like the endometriosis one. Orion is for the fibroids and bleeding with fibroids. It would just literally be for the symptoms and treating the symptoms first. That's it.
Okay.
Um, the bleeding symptoms from it. That would be all uh that you would treat it for, not to shrink it or do any of those things. To actually um I wouldn't necessarily recommend like medications for shrinkage or anything else to do removal or even excessa, if you will. You just have to know what you're doing. If it's by a blood supply, you have to know what you're doing
Okay.
to make sure that you remove that without causing a lot of damage.
Right.
That's it. It's in a very tricky area,
Yeah.
and so that's it. You got to really ask the questions of what's your approach, what do you do, how do you do this, how many women have ended up with hysterectomies after this, like you got to ask those questions, like those
And
the
have you
very
seen
tough the very tough
those?
questions.
Have you
See
seen
what, cervical
those?
fibrosis? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
So you deal with those typically a lot?
yeah. I mean, I deal with
Okay.
uh, everything a lot. Like it's just yeah, like when women have fibroids, they just have fibroids. They're in the cervix, they're on in the cavity, they're everywhere.
I've been
Just like
I've been tuning in.
yeah,
I've been watching the
today,
videos.
my patients today definitely had cervical fibroids for sure. When I got in and I was doing the myomectomy, first thing I hit was a cervical fibroid that bled and got on my damn nerves for 30 minutes after that. So it was a pain, but I got through it. I know how to deal with it. But to that point, if you get into trouble and you better know what you're doing. That's all.
Right,
That's what I would say about that. Just make sure whoever it is know what they're doing.
right. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Very welcome. All right. Talk to
Thank
you
you
later.
for joining.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
All
I
right.
got all the questions. I know you got to get back to duty.
Yeah, I do. I
This
just
was
picked up your
very,
stuff.
very, very informative. The numbers was skyrocketing tonight.
Yeah, they
So
were. Dope.
yeah, so we will definitely, I'll be sending you my schedule so we can
We'll
schedule
do it
another
again.
one. Yeah, so we can do it again. But
We'll do
thank
it again.
you for your time this evening. And
For
we
sure. I thank you
appreciate
for
everybody
yours.
who joined tonight. If you put a question in the question bubble, I got it. Don't worry. I keep a running list. I'm very organized with this. So
Yeah.
thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have other questions that you want to DM for me personally, I do this all day long. I answer the questions for me, but anything that's medical, yeah, we got to bring it to the lab.
Yeah. And yeah, so Ariel's been trying to get me to put do this TikTok live thing too. So we gotta talk about
Oh
that
yeah,
too.
I have
And to
TikTok.
take up.
I just don't get on it as much. They
Yeah,
made me
we'll do
mad.
that.
They was messing with my brother, so I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, they mess with
I
that.
don't mess with
Yeah.
them like that.
Oh no, they to that point is all about information and like I'm over it,
Yeah, no, I
so
know, but I'm just
I
saying
don't
that.
mind doing
So I tell people, if you want me to see something on there, send it to me because I ain't actively. But
it.
I have an account, so I could do both.
That's what's up. Yeah, we'll have to dive into that. But yeah,
Okay,
thanks everybody. Let me go be a doctor and deal with
thank
people.
you for all you
I'll
do.
see y'all later. For
All
sure.
right,
Appreciate it.
take it
All right,
easy.
talk to y'all later. All
Bye
right, bye.
bye.